Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kate if you're new here. Today I have a topic that I have been wanting to talk about for a few months now, and that is this thing that I saw pop up. I think probably the first time I saw it was sometime in January. I saw someone use the term Recession Core, and that was the first time that I had ever heard of that because I was like, what? There's obviously this obsession over the last few years on the internet with these really rapidly changing aesthetics. Everything has to fall into a certain aesthetic, and that's how we describe things now. And they move really quickly. Like, we've always had aesthetics, obviously, but they're all like very specifically named now, and they move really fast. So instead of having like one or two that are trending during the year, there's like a new one every month. So when I heard Recession Core, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can imply what that means, but also I am gonna look into this more. So first of all, if you don't know what Recession Core is, which honestly, I hope that you don't. I really hope that you don't, because that means that you haven't seen some of the things that I have seen on the internet, and that is a good thing. But if you don't know what it is, don't worry. It's basically just minimalism. As you know, there has been a lot of recession talk recently, and it can be scary, and I think that we're seeing people cope in a lot of different ways, which is really interesting. The last time that we had a recession was about 15 years ago. It has been a while since 2008. When I said that the other day and I was thinking about it, I was like, 15 years, like that's absolutely insane, because I remember it was not that long ago. It didn't feel like, but it was 15 years ago. And like I said, people are coping with this in different ways. Some people are selling things off that they don't need, which I totally understand. People are being more conservative with their spending. People are coping in all different types of ways. And for a long time, the economy has had a big crossover with fashion trends. Now, what I would think is that the fashion trends that are happening, it's just we're going to be switching over to things that are less expensive, or people are just going to be buying less items. But there are actually some other correlations that I found really interesting. So the first one is the hemline index. And I knew about this before, but I had never really looked into it very much. The hemline index is the theory that skirt lengths rise and fall with the changes of the stock market. The example that I always see used for this is the 1920s. So the Roaring 20s, you had the short skirts and everybody was having a great time because things were great, things were booming, right? And then later on in the 20s, in 1929, there was the Great Wall Street crash, which is when the New York Stock Exchange basically collapsed. Now, the hemline index says that skirts got longer toward 1929 when economic times were down. So you no longer had those super short skirts. You had the longer skirts, more like modest of a way of dressing in a time that was bad economically. I've also seen mixed comments about whether or not the hemline index is still relevant whatsoever, just because of the way that things have changed as far as women being able to wear whatever they want now. So I don't know if that's still relevant at all. And then one that I haven't heard of is the lipstick index. The lipstick index was talked about by Leonard Lauder, who is from Estee Lauder, one of the chairmen. And according to Wikipedia, this was described as the increase in lipstick sales in the early 2000s recession. So Wikipedia says that Lauder made the claim that lipstick sales could be an economic indicator, and that purchases of cosmetics, lipsticks in particular, tend to be inversely correlated to economic health. The speculation was that women substitute lipstick for more expensive purchases like dresses, shoes, handbags maybe, in economic times of distress. Also, another one that I saw was the high heel index. I didn't see a ton about that, to be honest, though, so I'm kind of just going to skip over it. But you get the point. It's the same concept. The point is that people have been relating fashion to the economy for a long time now. So what is Recession Core? I'm looking at an article from Fashion Magazine. It's called Recession Core is Exactly What You Think It Is, Unfortunately. And I like the first couple of sentences because I feel like they describe what's going on pretty well and pretty quickly. So everything is beige, outfit trends have been reverting to minimalism, beauty routines are centered around looking as natural as possible. Welcome to Recession Core. And I think that this is why specific brands like The Row, even like Polen, even the whole genre of quiet luxury, all really relate back to this. People tend to dress down during bad economic times. One thing that I feel like relates to this is this year's Coachella outfits that we saw from celebrities. So we saw Hailey Bieber in the cute little white tank top and the jeans and the belt and the sunglasses, and that was it. I liked it. I wouldn't say that she's like a fashion icon or anything. It's a white tank top and some jeans, but nonetheless, I liked it. You also have Kendall Jenner's very basic and simple outfit, the white t-shirt with the jeans. Now, who am I to say that they dressed like this with Recession Core in mind? To be honest, I think that they just did it to separate themselves from the influencers that are there that take Coachella very seriously, so they have these elaborate outfits. They wanted to stand out by dressing basic. But I still think that they're a good example to use. I think it's just not cool to show that you're rich right now, apparently. I think that it's just not trending. Like being rich is Not being rich, but showing that you're rich is just not trending right now. Obviously, this whole recession core thing has a huge crossover with minimalism. It's basically just minimalism. But I think that it's specifically fear of the recession rebranded as minimalism, because people are getting rid of things. They are selling things that they don't need. They are letting go of things. Maybe they're downsizing. You're getting rid of this stuff and clutter that's in your life, and you're adapting to a new lifestyle where you're not buying as much. You're not picking up items that you don't need. You're not shopping just to shop. So by you being financially careful and getting rid of the stuff that you don't need by selling it, you kind of are going into that minimalism lifestyle. I've talked about rebranding things before on my channel because I feel like if it helps you mentally cope with a situation, then great. This is just life. You can do whatever you want. If it makes you feel better to get obsessed with minimalism because it's going to help you save money, it's going to help you make money by selling off your stuff, and it's going to keep you sane, then more power to you. And also, I think that what we're going to see from influencers more now is them appearing to only buy what they need, them appearing to only unbox things that they need, them appearing to only purchase items that are sustainable and long-lasting and good for the environment, things like that. Because I think that at least over the next year or so, that's going to be the type of stuff that gets views. I feel like based on the influence that social media has had, I would say specifically over the last 3 years, we've just been overwhelmed with hauls, unboxings of insane things though. It's not like before where you only had these like Forever 21 hauls and people were spending like $200, $500, $1,000 even. Now it's like people are like, my $20,000 Hermes haul. Or I spent $15,000 at Dior today. The hauls are on a whole different level now. And I think that if you get bombarded with that for 3 straight years, maybe you don't want to see it anymore. Especially right now when inflation is very high and your bills are probably high, food is expensive, people are getting laid off left and right, and you probably don't want to see that right now. And I don't think that it's because people are hating on people with money or anything. I think that it's because watching things like that can make you feel like you don't have enough. And instead, watching content that has to do more with minimalism or more with purchasing sustainable items, living with less, that type of content, I would think is a lot easier to watch right now and would feel a lot better to watch right now because it's helping to reinforce that you do have enough, that you have everything that you need and you have a lot of the things that you want too. Moving back toward minimalism again is just a lot more accessible for people. They can participate in a trend again because the trends just kept getting more and more and more and more and more expensive. And at what point are you just like, oh, well, I'm never going to be able to participate in any trends anymore? Like things that cost $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 are trends. Handbags. Every time you see someone get a new car on TikTok, it's an insanely expensive car. And if it's under $100,000, there's at least some comments in there making fun of them for getting not the best version of that car. So I actually think that it's really nice to have trends that people can participate in again because that makes them more fun. I think there are other good reasons that this is trendy right now. And the first one is that you don't want to be a target. I think that in times like this, you probably worry more about the items that you have and about them being stolen, about you getting robbed while you're out for some really expensive jewelry, expensive handbags, something like that. Even if crime statistics aren't higher during a recession, I don't really think that it matters because if you feel that way and if you feel that sense of fear, that's all that matters. You're afraid, you feel fear. So at that point, you're like, okay, I'm not going to carry this stuff. I'm not going to wear this jewelry. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to adopt something that's more minimal. I think that also in the last 3 years, we've heard a lot more about theft from luxury stores. Back in the times where people were looting the luxury stores and the windows in Beverly Hills were getting broken. And like 2-3 months ago, there was not very much news on this, but my local Louis Vuitton store, the one that is in Fashion Island in Newport Beach, a car drove through the window while they were closed. I think it was 2 or 3 in the morning and stole a bunch of bags there. And Newport Beach is not a place where a lot of things really happen. So I can see how you can start to get scared of things because it worries me too. One of the other reasons that I personally don't participate in, I guess, is that some people are dressing more minimally. Some people are not carrying their designer handbags or wearing their expensive jewelry, not because they're afraid, but because they don't want to make others feel bad. I don't really agree with that because you already bought the items. Like, you might as well wear them. As long as you're not afraid for your own safety, then you might as well wear your items and not worry about what other people are thinking. You want to get use out of them, you should use them. That's just my take on it though. Some people feel like they should leave those items at home and wear something that is a lot less noticeable. The other reason that I think that this is a thing right now is because minimalism can be really fun. Decluttering can be really, really fun. I find it fun. I love getting rid of things. That's part of why I like preparing for a move, because I know that I'm going to get rid of a bunch of stuff. I know I'm going to sell off a lot of stuff, and I know that I'm going to have less when I get there so that I can be cleaner and more organized. And it just feels like a weight off of my shoulders when I get rid of things. Less stuff to worry about is good. I think it will be interesting to see what happens in the fashion world over the next few months, even the next few years, because I think that we're so early into this that we don't really know what impact this is going to have on the fashion world or have on the luxury world. And I'm interested to see what happens. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this topic. I would love to hear them. I'm also going to link some videos by some other creators with similar topics down below so that you can take a look at those if you're interested. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys!